Every week, we put together a list of 5 new single-issue comic books that we're super excited about and think that you guys will love, either because of entertainment value or potential monetary value for your comic book collection. I'm Brandon, and it's time for the new Comic Book Day Top 5. Okay, so before we get into things, if you haven't already done so, I'd greatly appreciate it if you'd consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you enjoy our content, be sure to hit the bell. And if you could, leave a thumbs up and a comment on this video. We're giving away some really cool comic book prize packs, but we'll get into that a bit later. So without further ado, here is about 20 to 30 bucks worth of comic book goodness that you can indulge in this new Comic Book Day. Alright, so coming in at number 5, we have Everything #1 from Dark Horse Comics. I'm taking a little bit of a chance on this book. I like the writer a lot, Christopher Cantwell, and the premise of this book looks absolutely bonkers. Basically, it's a big box store a la Walmart or Target called Everything that may or may not have some ulterior motives in this small Michigan town in Holland, Michigan that the story takes place in. And you follow these two characters as they try to get to the bottom of this mystery, as strange things keep happening in the town that no one can quite put their finger on, but seem to track back to the manager of this store. Sounds incredibly interesting. Can't wait to give it a read. So at number 5 this week, it's Everything #1 from Dark Horse Comics. Next up at number 4, finally, we have Doomsday Clock number 11. I'm not going to make any jokes. I said that last time we talked about Doomsday Clock. I'm just happy to have it. The last issue was absolutely stunning. I loved every second of it. I wanted it to go on for another 100 pages. It's interesting that this book is getting a trade paperback release for the first 6 issues at Christmas of this year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So you will, if you have been trade waiting on this, be able to catch up on the first half. But for those of you who have been picking them up in single issues, we're finally getting number 11, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. Man, what a place to leave the last issue on. That's going to be the first one I'm cracking open on New Comic Book Day. Well, maybe with the exception of our number 1, which I'll explain when we get there. So it's Doomsday Clock number 11 from DC Comics in our number 4 spot. But in the meantime, at number 3, it's Neil Adams back writing and penciling in the Bat Office at DC. It's Batman vs. Ra's al Ghul number 1 in a 6-part miniseries. I don't even care what this book is about. It's Neil Adams. He's drawing the Bat. He's writing the Bat. It's Ra's al Ghul. This book is just a red alert for everything, harkening back to the reasons I first fell in love with Batman and the Bat family, and why I love the character of Ra's al Ghul so much. If this hadn't been such a strong New Comic Book Day this week, this may have even been at number 1, but I'm so excited to read this one too. It's Batman vs. Ra's al Ghul, number 1 in a 6-part series from DC Comics. Okay, and at number 2 this week, we're back into X-Men. I left the last X book off of our New Comic Book Day Top 5 list. House of X number 4 is certainly getting represented. The last issue was absolutely stunning, and maybe we're going to get an answer in this book to what the hell was going on in the first few pages of the first House of X. You know, I got back into the X-Men hard with Matthew Rosenberg's run just before this. I thought it was stellar, and Jonathan Hickman is bringing a whole new perspective to the X-Men. It's something that Paul and I have both been enjoying, which is amazing to me because I've never been able to exactly get Paul into the X-Men. So being able to read an X book with my wife, House of X, Powers of X, they've totally done it, and that's why it's at number 2 this week. Both of us can't wait to pick this up. House of X number 4 from Marvel Comics. Alright, so what's going to be at number 1 this week? A new die is dropped. We've got that Star Trek 3-part series that jumps off Discovery coming out. There's so many good books coming out this week. A new Black Widow series dropping. But for me, it had to be a series that I've been absolutely loving and totally dogging on this list. It's number 15 of The Punisher written by the aforementioned Matthew Rosenberg. I read the news recently that this series is getting canceled at, I believe, number 16, and I'm heartbroken because this is the most that I've been into the Punisher in my adult life. It's a character that I've only ever really had a peripheral interest in, that I read in crossovers or occasionally pick up a trade of a classic Punisher run, something by Garth Ennis, for example, who I know is coming back to the title, and that's getting a lot of people very excited. But I'm just really, really sad that this amazing book is going away, because I've been loving it since issue 1, when it just blew my hair back with what happened with the Mandarin in that issue. Wow. If you haven't been reading The Punisher, pick it up, read it. It's been a great read, and I don't anticipate it ending on a weak note. So this week's number 1, because I've been dogging it so hard, and it's always one of the first books I read every time it comes out on New Comic Book Day, is The Punisher, number 15 from Marvel Comics. And one other thing that I want to mention before I take off, thank you to everyone who subscribed to the channel, helped get us over 100 subscribers in about 3 months. It's amazing. We're so appreciative. And we're also so appreciative for the amazing comic books that are coming out right now. Some of the best storytelling that's ever gone on in comics is happening right before our eyes. And so on weeks like this, where there's just too many to put in our top 5 list, we're going to do a supplementary honorable mentions list over at our Instagram at Exploding Earths. So if you go over there right now, you're going to find 5 more picks of honorable mentions of what you might want to pick up on New Comic Book Day, and Paula's bringing that home this week. So if you want to hear more of our picks, head over there. So that's it for this week. We'll see you again next week with another top 5 list, but until then, have a happy New Comic Book Day.